So financial maths and especially the profit part of it. Let's have a look. Tara buys a coat for €90. She then sells the coat at a profit of 25%. So what do we need to do? We need to find the selling price of the coat. So one thing we need to understand, well, what is that profit about? So if I'm thinking about profit in terms of money, so in terms of euro, let's say, that will equal, how do we get that? We take euro from our cell minus euro from the cost, and that way we get the euro, the profit. However, when we are looking at profit as a percentage, how do we get that? Well, that comes from the fraction. And here we do cell minus cost over cost. And that will be in euro. Now, let's not forget that fraction will be changed to decimal, and decimal we change to percentage. So that will be the process here. So when we are given that the profit is 25, that's what we are given. We are talking here about the fraction because we are not talking here about how much was the profit. So therefore, that's the information we're going to use. So that means 25 percent. If I change that to a decimal, that will be what? 0.25. And how did they got that? They took cells. Now, I don't know how much is cells, so let's say X minus the cost, I know 90, and then divided by cost, which is 90 as well. So if I want to find the cells, the price, so because that's what I'm looking for, therefore, first I need to eliminate that 90. How do we eliminate bottom of the fraction? Always the same, by multiplying and multiplying both sides of the equation, because 90 divided by 90 is 1, and 1 multiplied by the top of the fraction will be top of the fraction. So on one side of the equation, we have 90 multiplied by 0.25, and on the other side, I have x minus 90. Now, the last thing to do is to what? Get that 90 to the other side of the equation. Now, if we move a number from one side of the equation to the other side of the equation, what happens? It changes the sign to the opposite, isn't it? So therefore, my negative minus 90 will become plus 90, and that equals x. And then when we put all of that in our calculator, press equal, we're going to have 112.5. So that is the selling price. Okay, let's have a look at the next part of this question. The margin on the coat is the profit as a percentage of selling price. Look at, they are highlighting all the words, okay? And they are saying, write down the profit for this coat and hence find the margin. So one, we write down the profit, and hence with that knowledge applying, we can do to what? Find the margin. Okay, so again, how do we find the profit? That's what I was writing here, profit in euro, and that's what we are looking for. That's sales minus the cost in euro. So sales, we know, is 112.5 minus the cost is 90, and we put that in the calculator and we get is 22.5. So we did find the first part, therefore we can find the margin. And what is the margin again? It is a percentage. If it is a percentage, therefore it is a fraction. Fraction of what? Profit. And what? Selling price. So profit on top of the fraction, sell at the bottom. So my profit here is what? 22.5, and the sell 112.5. Now we put that in the calculator. What do we get? Decimal. And then to change decimal to percentage, what do? We either multiply by 100 or we move a decimal 2 places. So that means that will be 20%.